What up, nerds? If you found your way to this video, sorry I'm making funny sounds because I'm not Scottish. I'm chewing cough drops. Okay? So if you find your way to this video, you really want to know the difference in sound between loopers. Now technically, there should be no difference in sound because they should be all neutral, ideally. Now I get asked a lot of questions. Does it pop? Does it click? How does it sound? How does it sound? How does it sound? Shut up about it! Watch this video. So, all the loopers I have, which is 8? No, that's 6. I don't know how to do Chinese 8. I've recorded the amp clean and the looper clean. So, here's a setup. The problem, here's not the setup, the problem first. If you watch the video, after a few seconds, you don't know how it's supposed to sound. You always have to compare it with the original. And that's coming later in the video. You can jump to that directly, so you're gonna hear just 2 chords of the amp and then 2 chords with looper 1. Again the amp, again the looper, again the amp, again the next looper. So you really can compare. But if you wanna listen to this on your good setup with headphones or something like this, underneath this video is a link to an MP3 file with all the sounds, and there's also a link to a PDF file, which my lovely assistant Leslie, who's over there and doesn't want to be seen, prepared for me. And she typed up all the times, so you can actually go into this MP3 file and listen to what you want to listen to, and you can actually follow on the PDF file and see what you're hearing. Huh? You know what you mean. What I mean. So, the amp clean was recorded with this LSL Strat, very high-end Strat, and I used the Strat so that we actually hear the nice string plucky pluck, because you hear a little bit more detail in a single coil guitar compared to a humbucker guitar. And I used the front middle position. Why not just a single coil? Because I didn't want any hum. Okay, so here it's hum cancelling, so it's as clean a signal as we can get. So this is the guitar used. You're gonna hear an open G, open D, then a couple power chords and a couple single notes on every example. It ran into the Sir Badger directly with a 60 euro Mogami cable. Okay, this is a very high quality cable. So this is the most direct route that you can have. And it is going down into the basement into an Ignator 112 cab, mic'd with an SM57 and a relatively inexpensive MXL ribbon mic, both of them mixed together. Now the doorbell's ringing. That was the postman who forgot shit. So, again, Mogami cable, and that is direct into the amp. Then we're gonna go into the loopers, but completely bypassed. So, and the pictures will show you this. All I'm doing is going in, give the looper some power, and going out. And I'm going out with a, where is it? Also very high-end Sommer cable, black silk, very, very thick, extremely nice Neutrik plug. So this is all good shit. And you're gonna hear just the looper bypassed. So how much does going through the looper without anything attached or anything on affect the signal? Now, some of the loopers are buffered, and I actually think all the I can't really tell you 100%, but I think the Joyos are all buffered, as I think is the Moen GEC8 Jr. The Live and the 9 have buffered and buffered and non-buffered inputs, and I'm using both. As does the Thomann Octa-Switch, where you can actually switch the buffer on and off. And you will hear both options. And then I'm using 3 pedals. I thought 3 is a good number. In loop number 1, or always the first loop, MXR Dynacomp. I'm not getting like the greatest sound. I just wanted to use 3 pedals. So using a comp with this, probably not the best idea. But I wanted to go through 3 pedals and compare that. And then we're gonna go in loop number 2, T-Rex Ego Drive. And in the last loop always, which would be loop number 4 or 8, or in the 9 in the case of the GEC9, I'm using the, it's dirty. I'm using the Strymon El Capistan. That really doesn't color your signal at all, so it really can't be the pedals if there's any crap in the signal. But we are of course comparing affected signal with affected signal and clean with clean signal. So those are the pedals we're using. And again, they are being connected with Sommer cable, black silk, very nice plugs. So the cabling is all as good as it can get. Need another cough drop, which, in case you're wondering, look like this. So, the order of the pedals, the order of the looper is always the same, and I'm gonna go through them really quickly. Leslie, please, looper number 1, which is the Joyo PXL4. Haha, but why does it say Harley Benton on it? Now it gets complicated, because Harley Benton, which is the in-house brand of Thomann in Germany, or all over Europe, rebranded the PXL4 as the Harley Benton FXL4. Huh? Okay, but they're not doing that anymore. Now it's just a Joyo looper again. Wrong. Fame, the in-house brand for musicstore.de in Germany or all over Europe, is now rebranding this as a Fame product. So if you want to buy it, you can now not buy it as Harley Benton, but as Fame. Really complicated. I would like to tell you what it is called from Fame and how much it is, but I don't have that information yet. Moving on. PXL8 from Joyo used to be a Harley Benton FXL8. Not anymore. They don't have it anymore. Now it is also going to be a music store product under the name of Fame. Or, of course, the Joyo PXL8. Now, what is Wave X? Here it gets complicated. Joyo used to name their switches Wave X, which was kind of a subdivision of them because who knows why. So Wave X, Harley Benton, Fame, Joyo, as long as it looks like this, it's exactly the same product. And get it in lavender because it's just to die for. Okay, so that's the 8. In, out, buffered as far as I can tell. No triggers. Moving on. Next, you will always hear the PXL Pro, which is not rebranded as anything. Does it say Wave X on it? No. So, Joyo PXL Pro. 8 loops, 2 groups of 4 for your FX loop if you want to, 4 triggers, and a tuner out. Very nice. Moving on, it's buffered. PXL Live. Okay, same thing as the Pro. 2 trigger outs, MIDI. Exactly the same thing otherwise. A little bit complicated program. It is now rebranded as a Harley Benton product. Be careful. They're calling it the FXL Pro. Seriously. So, the Joyo PXL Pro, you've just seen. This is the Joyo PXL Live, which you can buy in Europe very easily for 179 euro from Harley Benton as a Harley Benton product, but there it is called the Pro, FXL Pro, but it is in fact the PXL Live. But I had a meeting with Thomann, and they realized that is just gonna confuse the living crap out of everyone, and we're probably gonna rename it into FXL Live. This might have happened when you see this video. Just make sure this has MIDI and 2 triggers. Don't confuse it with the Pro from Joyo. Moving on. Going to the next company, we have the Moen GEC8 Jr. Very nice, extremely small footprint. As far as I can tell, also buffered. And it's got 1 extra separate loop for your FX loop and 7 in a row. Moving on, 2 triggers, by the way. We've got the Moen GEC8 Live. Why do they call it live? Why is MIDI more live than non-MIDI? Who cares? Many, many, many options. You of course find videos for each of these on my channel, except for the Octa-Switch, which is coming. This has MIDI and it's got buffered and non-buffered inputs, and you will hear both of them. And it's got 3 completely separate loops. 6, 7, and 8 can be addressed completely separately. And many, 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 many good things about this puppy. 400 bucks. Moen. Moving on, the Moen GEC9. The most easy to program looper I've used so far. Very small footprint, very nice. Also buffered and non-buffered input. You will hear both. 2 outputs, lots of cool things. 3 separate loops as well. And it's got 9 loops, which is like this many except for the thumb. To program, very easy. Click whatever preset you want, select your loops, you're done. And now moving on to the behemoth of the loopers. Doesn't even fit in the picture. It is the Thomann Octa-Switch. It's freaking huge. I think it's got a couple of drawbacks which I will point out in my video, like, you know, very close switches and stuff like this. Incredibly easy to program, just use a little dip switches. 8 presets, no menus, no nothing. And based on the size, I'm thinking there's a lot of good stuff in there that will make it sound pristine. It's about 300 bucks. It will eat up a lot of space on your board, but knowing the guys from Thomann, this puppy sounds good. It is also the only one that can be operated by batteries. Make sure that all these actually have enough power. They need more than 300 milliamps. And I gotta say this to this, if you're thinking, well, all these are Chinese and now we're comparing this to the Chinese ones. It is also made in China. Now, is there a difference between this one's made in China but overseen by Danish people and the Chinese are making theirs in China overseen by Chinese people? Who knows, but we're gonna hear it with our ears. That hurt. So, setup's clear. Oh, the 2 mics are going into a Universal Audio 4710D preamp. Very nice high quality preamp, which is also the AD converter going into an RME Firephase 800, going into the Compa-Hooter in Cubase 7.5, where I'm mixing the 2 channels pretty much equally. And the ribbon mic is going to give us the low end because maybe some of them drop low end or not. So we have a nice balanced sound. What you're going to hear is now, well, what you're going to see. And then we're going to do the quick comparisons. But if you want to spend time with the audio file, it is going to be in my Dropbox and the link is going to be below where my nuts are. I don't know why I said that, but you know, I do stuff like that. So, here we go. Okay, that was boring. And now we're gonna go and listen to quick ones. First, clean. Amp clean, FXL4, PXL4, amp clean, PXL8, amp clean, you know what I mean. Moving on, here we go. Now, if that was boring enough and tiring enough for your ears, we're gonna do the same thing with 3 loops active and 3 effects pretty much now. So, that was it. Maybe you've made it to the end. Do you want me to tell you which one is the best? You make up your own mind. Remember that we're talking between 100 and 400 euro, big price range. Lots of features, different features. Of course, the more shit it's got in it, the more it might degrade the sound. But do they really? You be the judge. Congo, what do you think? Come on, Congo, what do you think? She's looking at the loopers. How cute is that? Okay. Well, I'm out. Bye.